Yeah, I think we'll start to see less volatility when we cross 500,000 per coin. That's roughly half of gold's market cap. And at that point, I believe people will start to understand that there is no point to sell Bitcoin because it went 5x from here. And the question is, why would you want the dollar anymore? Or why would you want the euro anymore? So at a certain point, people will just stop selling Bitcoin for fiat currencies that are massively devaluing against Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is making headlines again. The price is quietly creeping upward amid growing institutional interest and seismic shifts in global finance. And now, Samson Mow just said the quiet part out loud. Bitcoin could hit $500,000 anytime soon, and that's just the opening act. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you believe Bitcoin will replace fiat currencies like the dollar and euro? Samson Mow isn't throwing out vague guesses. He's sounding the alarm on a looming global monetary shift. He warns that once Bitcoin crosses $500,000, everything changes. People stop selling because psychologically, Bitcoin hitting half of gold's market cap will make it too valuable to let go. At $500,000, Mow predicts a tipping point where the masses will finally ask, why hold the dollar? Why hold the euro? Fiat currencies are on a one-way track to devaluation, and Bitcoin becomes the world's most coveted digital reserve asset. Sounds bold? Mow's not backing down. He admits missing his $1 million BTC call for 2024, but for 2025, he's doubling down. It's just a 10x from here, he says. Bitcoin has already surged 17x before. Now with institutional adoptions and ETFs rolling out and pro-political buy-ins, the path is clearer than ever. Here's the game changer. Bitcoin is transforming into a Veblen good. The pricier it gets, the more people want it. Once it overtakes gold, it becomes a top-tier global asset. Dollars lose luster. Digital gold takes the throne. And ETFs? They're the key. The old barrier of converting fiat to Bitcoin? Gone. Trillions of dollars from traditional finance can now flood in, almost instantly. ETFs don't just make Bitcoin easier to buy, they normalize it. Boomers, passive income seekers, tax-advantaged investors, all are stepping in. Wall Street isn't dipping its toes anymore, it's diving deep and hoarding. But Mow isn't just talking, he's building the future. His company Jan3 is working hand in hand with governments to integrate Bitcoin into their strategic reserves. He helped architect El Salvador's Bitcoin bonds, delayed but expected to launch soon. Interest in Latin America is exploding. Countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Venezuela, crushed by hyperinflation, are turning to Bitcoin and stablecoins like Tether for survival, not speculation. With $5 million raised in seed funding and 12 BTC in treasury, Jan3 is pushing Bitcoin usability across Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico, creating real on-ramps and off-ramps for everyday users. All this unfolds as fiat currencies falter. The US dollar's purchasing power is weakening. Inflation stubbornly lingers, and central banks are scrambling for solutions. The cracks in the old financial system are widening, and Bitcoin is emerging as the escape hatch. For the tech enthusiasts, Mow's Infinite Fleet project continues pushing blockchain gaming's frontier, tokenizing in-game ships and expanding across new blockchains. It's early, but it's coming fast. The 500K Omega candle, just the spark. $1 million Bitcoin, the next chapter. The fall of fiat, already underway. So, here's the real question. Are you ready? Drop your Bitcoin prediction for 2025 below. Like, share, and subscribe for fresh, high-impact crypto insights every day. Because whether you see it or not, the monetary revolution is already here. Let's get more insights from Samson.
And as well, you made before a prediction that Bitcoin would hit $1 million by the end of this year.
Well, I thought we would hit it this year, 2024, but I missed the prediction. So I think 2025 is definitely a possibility.
So what are the fundamentals that Bitcoin will grow in the price so quickly to $1 million?
It's not that quick. It's 10x from here. Bitcoin has done 17x in the past. And the higher we go, the easier it gets to go up because there is this Veblen effect. You know, a Veblen good, it's like a luxury good. The more expensive it is, the more desirable it is. And Bitcoin is sort of a Veblen type good where you don't want it when it's low, but when it's expensive, you want it. And when it crosses that gold threshold, it'll be, you know, number 2 or 3 in total largest of the total assets in the world, largest assets in the world, and it's only gold that has to be toppled. So at that point, it's kind of established itself as a reserve asset, and people will just want to buy it no matter what. But we're already seeing a shift in the dynamic of Bitcoin buying. It is ETFs, passive income funds, and bondholders getting MicroStrategy exposure. So they don't really care about the price. They're just buying indiscriminately. So that kind of sets Bitcoin on a path to reach 1 million and beyond.
So ETFs is a good thing or bad thing as for you?
I think it's a good thing. Not everyone will want to hold Bitcoin in their own wallet. They should, but not everyone will want to. And some people are maybe not qualified to. Maybe they're old and they need someone to help them take care of it. And I think ETFs are a viable mechanism for certain people. Or if you have a tax-advantaged savings account, then it makes sense to put that into an ETF. But the most important thing with the ETFs is I believe it's a portal to TradFi capital or fiat money. So a lot of the previous Bitcoin bull runs were muted because the exchanges are a bottleneck to move from fiat to Bitcoin. And the exchanges cannot KYC and onboard people fast enough. But with the ETFs, you open the doorway to trillions of dollars that can just magically flow in. So I think this time is going to be very different than previous bull runs.
Yeah, and as well, you were chief architect of El Salvadorian Bitcoin bonds, but that stopped. Are there any plans in line to revive that?
So all I can do is design it and show the way, and it's up to every country's governments and leaders to make that step forward. El Salvador has not announced that they're not doing the Bitcoin bonds, so I'm still hopeful that this year we will see them. And yesterday I was also on a panel with Nina from the AAB, and she kind of hinted that this year likely we'll see something.
Yeah, it will be great to see that. And as well, what developments do you see currently in El Salvador within already 3 years since the adoption of Bitcoin as a legal tender?
I think the adoption is pretty good, and we see like this Plan B Forum is an example of that adoption and success. I think the conference maxed out at 2,500 ticket sales. So it's the largest Bitcoin conference in El Salvador to date so far. And I just see a lot of Bitcoiners interested in Bitcoin coming to El Salvador.
Yeah, and as well, what other Latin American countries do you see the most active in terms of crypto, Bitcoin adoption? Where do you see the biggest interest?
I think there's probably more interest in maybe Brazil, just overall, because more population. Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela. But a lot of it's because of necessity, because they have their own fiat currencies that are hyperinflating. So they're looking for tether, stablecoin, optionality to hedge, or they're looking for Bitcoin.
And as well, how long will this bull market last, in your opinion?
Forever.
Well, like there are anyway cycles, ups and downs.
I don't believe in cycles.
Okay, that's interesting. And can you share as well some latest developments with your blockchain game with Infinite Fleet?
Yeah, so we're just continuing development. We still have about 15 people on the dev team, but we're working on getting the ships tokenized still, which is the bottleneck. So we are looking at some new technologies out there, and we're evaluating if we should migrate or stay on Liquid for the digital assets.
So do you think to migrate to other layer 2s?
We're looking at some other options right now.
And can you share as well some more of your upcoming plans for Gen 3 and for Aqua Wallet?
Yeah, we just raised our seed round, so we raised $5 million so far.
And I see you bought some Bitcoin for your treasury too.
Yeah, we have some Bitcoin. We have 12 Bitcoin in our treasury. But right now it's just ramping up the dev team to increase integrations in Aqua. So more fiat on and off ramps in other countries. We have some on and off ramps in Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico coming. Everyone's very curious now to learn more. So it's much easier for us as Gen 3 to engage and talk about Bitcoin because there is demand for engaging on Bitcoin. But we're seeing a lot of interest too from countries to create special economic zones. And Thailand is one of those. They've talked about it publicly already. So I think the dominoes are starting to fall very rapidly in terms of nation-state adoption.
So do you currently help Thailand as well?
We're working on it.
Can you share as well, countries with which you are currently working with, consulting with, if it's not under NDA?
There's a lot. But there's a fair number. I can't tell you exactly, but there's a lot.
As it's more like developing countries, so like island countries, so do you work as well with any countries in Europe?
Europe is trickier. As you mentioned, we did present at the Bundestag and talk about Bitcoin. And there are some areas around Serbia. Prince Philip from our team is working on those. But Europe as a whole is a bit tricky. They're not really into sound money or into Bitcoin. They're just more into regulating everything.
Yeah, but now we see actually Czech Republic, they have proposal to buy Bitcoin.
That was a big surprise. But it's inevitable because all of these countries, all of the central banks, and especially pension funds, they all need Bitcoin. And it's just a matter of time, really. I mean, the UK right now is going back into crisis mode. So a few years back, the pound dropped to almost the same level as the dollar. And the gilts there were in crisis. And now they're once again getting back into crisis territory. So I think we'll see more urgent adoption of Bitcoin and very quick movements, like from this Czech central bank. I mean, they're putting it to a vote. It's not we're exploring it, we're researching it, but we're putting it to a vote. So I think things will move very quickly this year in 2025.
And that's a wrap on today's video. If Samson Mow's bold insights didn't get your mind racing about what's next for Bitcoin, I don't know what will. Now it's your turn. Where do you see Bitcoin by the end of 2025? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every single one. If this video gave you value, hit that like button and share it with your friends, family, or anyone still sleeping on crypto. They need to hear this. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more powerful Bitcoin and crypto breakdowns coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.